And we're live. And if people that are listening to this after the fact want to know why I was laughing, well, you could join the Discord, linked in the pinned comment section, chat, description area, places, and all those things. Everywhere down below, or wherever you're looking at it from.
While we're at it, Oodie, why don't you go ahead and change the description to like the not Kamui one? Just while you say the word description, let's just do that now. So that way, the future streams, we can just have the right one. But I can make sure to do that too.
So, what would you like the description to be?
Just go to like 5 months ago to wherever you might just have a normal description that isn't just my Twitter.
All right, we'll just remove those 3 links and we'll just leave it as join the podcast Discord server.
That works too.
Everything else is fine.
I mean, you can link my Discord server in there. I could use some activity.
I don't think it was linked originally based on the ones recently. I don't know. It's too late now. Hi, Dorshikage! We were able to reach 200 episodes, as the title says. Yes, we did that. It's the Walky Talky number 200. Yeah. It's a celebration. Woo! So, Kamui, of the how many is here? Of the let's double check real quick. Of the 488 rankings on Naru Top 99, and to be fair, this is some ties, but like just ignoring the fact that that's the case. So, of the 488 people on Naru Top 99, would you like to take a guess as to where Tintin is?
1 second.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess I'm gonna guess 3 numbers.
Okay.
82, 178, or 259.
Okay. So, ignoring where she is, where do you think she should be placed?
I don't know, bro. Because I'd have to go through and rework all the characters who are too high, too low.
That's fair. Well, do you think Tintin would be massively or slightly overrated or underrated on this list? You think she's too high, too low, of where you think wherever she would probably be?
Probably too high. There's probably the meme votes.
Okay. So, Kamui, what if I told you she's 35?
Really?
She's above Tauchi.
She's above Kimaru then.
She is above Ramen Guy. She's above Conan. She's neck and neck with Haku.
Those are definitely meme votes, bro. Just like Sakura.
Sakura's not a meme vote. She's got the most dedicated supporter, and everyone else is a hater. If you didn't vote Sakura every single day, like me.
Well, either way, that's some cap.
It's freaking 35.
Tenten's not the 35th most popular character.
Kamui, for reference, Tendo Pain is 43.
Exactly, like that's not how people actually feel.
Even freaking Ino is 44. More popular than Kakuzu.
Good important characters that are just ranked lower when they shouldn't be.
More popular than Hiruzen. It's like so yeah.
Yeah, it's just cap.
Freaking 16,000 votes is insane. I love it. Anyways, so let's compare that to Shizune, who is 83rd. All right. So, Kamui, how many more votes in terms of like multiplication wise, do you think 1010 has compared to Shizune? Is it
10.
double, triple,
10.
1.5? Okay, well, you're not too far off. It is 8 times. 1010 has 8 times more votes than Shizune. He's 8 times more popular.
Yeah, but I do think 1010's got a lot of troll votes.
I mean,
Now, I'm not saying that she might not just objectively be more popular. She very well could be. So that would be perfectly reasonable. But I'm pretty confident there's a lot of troll votes for 1010.
I don't know, Kamui. I don't know why you're underestimating 1010's fan base. I mean, I think it just shows that you actually are just a hater.
Because, Oodie, you've got people like Naruto explain Six Path's 1010 referenced every other video. It's just like people just are memeing her.
Well, hang on, Kamui. Are you saying 1010 shouldn't be more popular than Gamabunta?
Yes. That is in fact what I am saying.
See, that right there confirms it, folks. He's a hater.
Speaking of Gamabunta, Oodie, is Gamabunta a ninja?
Well, there's an argument to be had. I mean, you'd have to send Ninja to go fight Gamabunta, so... But
well,
again,
actually,
where's Gamabunta?
Most ninja can't beat Gamabunta. He's beyond a ninja.
Yeah. Does he have a headband?
Nope. What village does he work for?
Yeah.
Mount Myoboku. You know that ninja village?
Village hidden in the Myoboku.
The village hidden in the toads.
Wow.
Okay, so Hidan and Kakuzu.
But yeah. That's...
Well, as you said, we already talked about it.
Okay, alright, moving up from Tinded. So back to Hidan and Kakuzu. I say back to as if we've covered it at all this stream. By the way, let's check out chat, I guess. So, Orochimaru PR, this channel should be a lot bigger. People just can't handle the truth. Very interesting. I mean, it is only because of Daigo that I'm here now. Oh, shout out Space, okay. And then Power to 99. How do you do your live streams? Call list your meetups. Oh, I'm glad you're saying that, Power to 99. We actually do the live streams in the Discord. If everyone wants to join, that's where we do the calls. And then it's linked in the chat and description and pinned, and there you go. All right, cool. So thank you for your questions. All right, so back to Hidan and Kakuzu for the first time of the stream.
Yeah, so where did we leave off?
Okay, my audio's totally messed up tonight. So Kamui, if I don't respond to you, that's why, because it's done this like 20 billion times. I'm sick of not talking about it, okay? People can't handle the truth. So I'm just gonna unplug it and just gonna plug it back in, because this is annoying.
Okay. Okay. Let me know when you're good.
Yeah. So just for reference,
Okay.
How many times have I blatantly interrupted you so far?
There was only like one time earlier where I was. It hasn't really been much.
Okay.
In fact, I can only think of one time.
That's fair. Okay. I'm glad we solved that until it inevitably happens again. But for now. Anyways, do we want to end it here since it is 12:30 and if we're watching a movie then it might be a good idea, or are we gonna keep going?
Well, okay, I guess, what's your cutoff time to end everything?
I mean, whatever, I guess, but like, I guess the earlier the better. I don't really have.
Yeah, but like hypothetically,
Okay, 3
if we ended stream at
a.m., if you wanna go
1:30
that way.
and started a movie at 2,
Okay, I got
just
it.
for intermission, would that be too late, or?
Well, what I will add is that I really have to go to the bathroom, so if we don't end now, then I'm just gonna have to do that, and you're gonna have to entertain chat for a couple minutes. So that's part of the reason why I'm asking now. And that might
Well, I mean, that's
influence
kind
it
of
too.
whatever, but the next
Sorry,
question
that's right.
was going to be, well, first of all, ignoring your bathroom for a moment, would starting a movie at 2 be too late or fine?
That'd be fine.
Okay. In that case, I say we go to like 1:30. And
Okay.
then the question becomes, do we just do more rewrites or do we switch to Boruto topics?
We'll decide after I get back from the bathroom.
Well, okay, but the issue with that is that if we were doing rewrites, I could have presented something while you listen. But now that's not an option because I don't know what you wanted to say. And you want me to entertain chat, of which our messages are the truth, ? Hidan and Kakuzu, and what's the topic? The topic was asked 35 minutes ago, and Space answered that question before it was asked. It's Hidan and Kakuzu, right? And now I've caught up on chat. So this was... Yeah, if you had waited 30 seconds, we could have done this way better. And frankly, just to spite you, I almost want to just be silent, but then that'd be bad for stream. So, you look at Discord chat. I can imagine the Kakuzu's hearts being children and the children fighting for Kakuzu, being similar to Mahito and the transfigured humans. Yeah, I mean, it's a similar idea, basically. Not quite exactly the same, but I think it'd be better to have literally like it either looks like children or it'll be like Haku with the mask to where they have the mask on, but it's clearly children. A Space, I wasn't saying to make Shizune Kakashi's level, just something close to it. Like, for example, if they just say she's on Asuma's level, something to where you know it's just under Kakashi, so that way when Kabuto kills her, it's like, okay, yeah, Kabuto really is Kakashi level.
You know what? How crazy would it be if the very same chapter Boruto told Kawaki he should unseal Naruto so Naruto could train him? What if Kawaki just did do that? Very same chapter. Like, regardless of good or bad.
Hot twist!
Like, at this point, do you unironically think it just would have been better?
Yeah. It would have been so stupid, but like then at least Jiraiya could fucking go after Naruto and do something interesting there. And Naruto can have interesting thoughts about Kawaki and everything. And I don't know, maybe we could do something with these characters. I mean, the obvious answer is no, it would be worse for all the obvious reasons. It's only quote unquote better because it would just be more interesting than what they are doing right now. Because not that I have any problems with what's going on with Matsuri and Konohamaru and Jura's dialogue and whatnot. My thing is, narratively, Ryu is uninteresting. It's just, I don't care. Yeah. There's nothing going on with Ryu. Mamushi and Ada, I'm actually curious, this could be a transition to Boruto topics. Do you think they're going to get involved in this arc? Because when you think about it, this is like the love arc. What does Ada's entire character revolve around? You guessed it, love. Who is targeting Ada? Mamushi. Wouldn't now, in some ways, be a good time to do that so that way we get more Ada? Because this is kind of like the arc for her in a sense. The problem is, I mean, you could argue there is setup because Koji Sagai, he's at the hideout. He's not saying what's going to happen in 10 minutes from now. But they haven't made it seem like Mamushi plans to do anything's the only problem. But
yeah,
what do you think about that in general, though?
Well, I was scrolling in Boruto topics to whatever you were wanting me to go to, but I think you were just saying that in general because I don't think you ever wrote anything.
I was just saying that. I just made up that on the fly.
Wow.
Like, I was saying it's a segue to Boruto topics because we're talking about Boruto, but that's all. I just made up the topic on the fly.
Okay, can you repeat the end of what you were saying? Because I was focused on scrolling.
Okay, so this is the quote-unquote love arc. What does Ada's character revolve around? You guessed it, love. And who's targeting Ada? Mamushi. Do you think Mamushi's gonna make his move in this arc because of the love and Ada aspects? Or do you think they're gonna just keep waiting on it? Because part of my problem is they've gone this deep in the arc without doing anything.
Exactly.
Depending on what and when the midpoint is, if we haven't already hit it, then Mamushi doing something could be kind of like a midpoint, or if not, just like a sudden surprise going in Act 3. But then if you're just starting Mamushi randomly in Act 3, it kind of just feels like you're just shoving it in there randomly. Oh, just like everything else with Prophecy Arc. But, yeah, I feel like if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it very soon. So the question is, do you think he's gonna go off Data in this arc?
So the question shouldn't be do I think, it's whether or not I think they should, considering
Okay, let's start with that. Let's start with that. Yeah, okay.
So okay. Yes and no, I'll explain both. My problem...
Yeah, that's my answer too. Yes and no.
My problem with this is that the midpoint is supposed to be a pivot in the story. This would just be a different story. It's just a new story. It's basically a new arc, not a midpoint at that point. So, like,
yeah,
that doesn't really work.
I mean,
Not enough. Like,
there might be a way to make it work, but like, broadly speaking, yeah, it is just a random thing happening, which would then just take over, because unless it's going to be a side-by-side thing, but then let's just assume they're doing a side-by-side thing, so Matsuri stuff continues. Now we're just going to randomly throw in Mamushi love shit out of nowhere that hasn't been progressed or built up whatsoever.
Exactly.
So, which is, that's the problem. But then, like, it's like, on the other hand, it's like, oh, this is fucking Ada's theme.
Yeah, that's the nice way of wording it, Kamui. The way I was gonna go about it is, oh, well, if we do that, then it's gonna ruin this arc. Oh no! Oh, we're gonna cut off this bad arc to end it early, and oh no, yeah, okay.
Yeah, maybe, you know what? Just like the last few arcs, maybe the arc will just end at Act 3. We just won't do Act 3 again.
You know, I'd be willing to end this bad arc early, thus ruining it, if it means that we can just get the next good arc with Mamushi sooner. I would rather see that than this arc.
You're not wrong.
Exactly.
So, assuming Mamushi doesn't show up, what do you think the midpoint will be if you think it hasn't happened yet, or what do you think it is if it already happened?
A cool midpoint would be finding out that off-screen Matsuri did finish devouring Konohamaru, and she comes back.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that was my midpoint pick, is that she just does devour him. Because, so, there's two options you have. You either have, so I'm thinking they might lean into an anti-theme-ish thing. So, but your options are either Konohamaru's gonna manage to appeal to Matsuri's humanity so that she doesn't devour him, or she just is going to devour him. Where do we get into anti-theme? So what is Konohamaru failing to do? Well, he's not just in terms of the plot mission aspect to where he's just objectively sucking at his job of befriending the Shinju, but he's not trying to, like, understand, talk to, communicate. He's doing the thing Naruto failed to do in the Sasuke retrieval arc. He's not willing to compromise. He's being bad, essentially, and that costs him getting devoured. And then, of course, with having Matsuri devour, I'm saying this pretty badly, but you get the idea. Matsuri devouring Konohamaru obviously just tells us what happens when that happens, so we get the plot answer that we all want to see. And the other thing is, if you're looking at the Shinju, okay, so Jura's talking about the Shinju developing love, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we already know Matsuri's found that with Konohamaru. What Shinju's most likely to truly develop love for their target? It's fucking Hidari, of course. If Matsuri devours Konohamaru and we see that answer, we could then have Hidari, who develops love for Sarada, not devour Sarada, giving us the other answer. When it comes to someone's like Mamushi and Ryu, you could have them not develop love and do whatever you want from there, so you can get more answers in that sense. So I feel like it's probably best, I would say, because I don't really want Hidari to devour Sarada. I mean, you can do that, but like I think just have Matsuri devour Konohamaru. It's already been built up to that point. Konohamaru's doing everything wrong. He deserves it. I'm sorry. It's his own fault. So I think they should have Konohamaru get devoured.
Yeah.
That'd be a good midpoint. And then I don't know what I want them to do with Ryu at this point, because on one hand, I want to see him devour Gaara and do something there. But on the other hand, I like his personality, but narratively, he's got jack shit going for him, and I kind of just want him gone to bring in Shinki. But then if they do that, are they going to fucking do anything with Shinki anymore anyway? No, they're going to put him back in the Sand Village and forget about him for the next 800 chapters. So I don't know what I want from Ryu.
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm
Thoughts?
not really looking for Shinki in the manga anyways. That'd be more of an anime thing for me, at least. I mean, I want Shinki in the anime, don't get me wrong. But I don't really need him in the manga if they're gonna do such little in the manga per month anyways.
Well, yeah, that's the problem, is that I don't know what I would expect from Shinki anyway at this point, other than hypothetically a Shinki versus Gaara Shinju battle, which would be cool as fuck. But then again, it's just at that point it's becoming coolness more than anything else, because they're not taking the time to make us care narratively. Like, if they were gonna do it, the time to do it would have been to have Gaara be the Shinju in the first place, and then have Shinki be important in this arc. But they didn't do that, so now it's like either just keep having Ryu and whatever else go on, or you free him and get rid of him.
Yeah.
But if they do that, I'm just like, fuck this arc, man. I'd rather just have Matsuri make the Leaf Village again. So I guess what I want is Ryu to devour Gaara. I want to see Ryu devour Gaara, and I want to see Konohamaru get devoured by Matsuri. Just both of them get devoured, I think, is what I want.
Jesus. So, to clarify my thing on Shinki, it's not that I don't want him in the manga. If I see him in the manga, I'd be like hyped and it's cool and all that. So, but like, you know, that's like in a perfect world, we have every character and then everything is lovely and perfect and amazing. That's not reality, so we gotta, focus on priorities here. So, can we get Sakura's reaction to Hidari before we get Shinki?
It's too late. My problem is it's too late for Sakura. I know it's not too late, and that makes way more sense than Shinki, but it's too late.
Yeah, but you get the idea I'm going for. It's like the same idea of us saying, can we get the second half of the Code Arc before we get a 2 Blue Vortex anime?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. In reference to everything.
But then again, to counter my own point, so that's a reason to keep Ryu around, right? But at the same time, if Ryu devours Gaara, can we get Sakura's reaction to Hidari before we get more Oriya Yodo bullshit?
Yeah.
That's the problem. Instead of the Sand Village, we should have just got Sakura's reaction to Hidari.
Oh, God. That single thing would have been more impactful than this entire arc.
Literally. Like, and we still didn't even know why Mamouchi's not going after his target. Yeah. After all this time, we still don't know why. He's just talking to Jura for fun.
So, I have a lot to say on everything that you've said. And I'm sure I'll get only one of those things out before you inevitably interrupt me and we talk on that one thing for an hour before I forget the other 10 things to say. But so I see what you are saying with the anti-theme, and I'm not going to say that's bad. I have arguments for and against it. For example, an argument for it is if they're going with this idea of irrational love, then that'd be really cool if, since it's an anti-theme, Matsuri's gonna hate it and be like, guys, this was bad, and then Jura's gonna say, yeah, because it was out of irrational love, and so now it didn't work for you, and we see you as a failure because of that.
I mean, real quick,
that way for me.
You could also, so obviously in Konohamaru's, that's pretty obvious. This is what happens when you be bad at this job and don't communicate and blah blah blah. That's why he gets devoured. For Matsuri though, depending on what actually happened, so this chapter makes me think at the very least the Shinju believe this, whether it's instinctual or their logical deduction. But my hypothesis is that if you devour your target, at least in their minds, if Matsuri devours Konohamaru, she will no longer love Konohamaru. She will have crushed that aspect of her humanity entirely. She will have overcome her love for Konohamaru. As a result, she essentially becomes less human. Now, that might not play out in practice, but at least that's their thought process. You could just have that be true to where Matsuri is now on that path of no return. She's the fucking Tendales. She's not going to be human now because the one thing that could have made her switch sides is gone. That's her breaking point. No matter what you throw at her now, you could throw freaking Udon at her. It's not going to do shit. And then conversely, you have Hidari not do that. Stuff like that you could do. And then, of course, if you're doing this, Matsuri's downfall could become because she lacks humanity in some form or fashion. That's why she's eventually defeated. Whereas if she hadn't devoured Konohamaru and been more human, she wouldn't have been defeated. You could go that route.
So, I personally, you might disagree, I personally don't think the Naruto series or its authors or anything like that are making a one-to-one correlation between evolution and loss of humanity. It's more so just those who don't have humanity in the first place, aka the Otsutskis, are the only ones that care about evolution, which is how that correlation is drawn about. But
that's
in general,
not really what I'm saying in the first place.
Well, hang on, but I don't think that evolution is a bad thing in the first place. And so, like, if anyone were to evolve, that's only a good thing, and they could, like, maintain their humanity. In fact, they could keep it more, they could be more human if they evolve based on the potential evolution of intelligence. And so I don't think that if she eats the target, that necessarily means she's crushing her side of humanity in Konohamaru entirely. If anything, she could love Konohamaru even more than before, or...
Well, like I said, it doesn't have to play out
No,
that
I know. I'm just presenting...
It's just that that's what they think.
Side.
And I'm saying, if it plays out that way, you could then do blank.
Well, what is it that they think?
They seem to think... I'm going to do a video explaining this. I have a quick side note. I think I've decided... I'm going to take a break from chapter reviews. I'm just going to cut out. This next one's just not going to be a chapter review anymore. I'm just going to talk about the Shinju shit that I was going to talk about for most of the video. I'm just going to make that the video. And that way I'll probably post videos more often because I'm not sitting here sulking about how to know when to chapter review. Anyway, based off things... All right, new topic. Considering that, what topic were you even coming from? Okay, real quick. I don't think that we need to discuss this for long, but I've been saying this for years now, and I saw you write this, and I was like, yeah, I just completely agree.
Well, can we
why isn't Wasabi just written to be the child of Kiba and Tamaki? Why can't that have just been the case? Why isn't that just better? It fucking is better. She's got the personality of Kiba. Her fighting style is literally Kiba's, but Cat, who is Cat's Tamaki, the ninja cat lady. What's the point of making her not the child of them?
In fact, they could even do one of the next generation, like, conflict things that they're doing of, am I gonna go with my mom's path or my dad's path? Which works even better, considering Tamaki and Kiba are, like, literally butting heads over dogs and cats in the Mirai arc.
Yeah, and she could even do a thing to where she combines them in some way, to where she uses Kiba's fighting style, but with the cats.
Literally could have been her Susanoo.
Her Susanoo could have been... No, okay, I got one. Instead of the stupid cat Susanoo, Kiba's two-headed wolf and three-headed wolf, it would have a dog head and a cat head. Be a cat dog. The two-headed cat dog.
Exactly. It could have been like Madara's Susanoo even.
Yeah, like it's just two heads though instead of three, because it's not a third animal in this case. But yeah, that would have just been better than the stupid cat Susanoo.
By the way, can I just say how glad I am you just knew what I was talking about, and proud I am of the Boruto community for deeming it this and just knowing what it is.
Oh, the cat Susanoo. Well, I mean, we've all been saying it since day one when we first saw it. That's a cat Susanoo.
I love it.
Well.
Like, people don't do that for other chakra cloaks. Like, the Raikage doesn't have a Susanoo. We just all collectively agree this is a cat Susanoo.
Well, the Raikage didn't make a lightning Susanoo, did he? Nope.
Okay, but again, like, KCM2 isn't a Biju Susanoo. you just agree. It's just a cat Susanoo.
Well, the cat Susanoo is red like Itachi's. I'm sorry. Look, it looks like Itachi's, but cat shaped.
It totally should be green, by the way. Just works.
What, Itachi's or this cat Susanoo?
The cat Susanoo just works for Wasabi.
I mean, it wasn't her thing like green aura. Like, why even is it red?
Exactly. Like, that's her whole color scheme.
I mean, I don't disagree.
I mean, if Wasabi is like Kiba and Tamaki's child, then that could even work cool with some interactions they have with people in the manga, or not the manga, the anime. Like, whenever Wasabi is fighting Anko in that one scene, Anko could have a line referring back to when Kiba was in the tuning exams or something. Like, oh, like father, like child. Yeah, exactly.
Especially considering that, like, every team has this except for their team, who we just don't know their parents. The parents don't matter. Like, what? I don't know why they did that. It's so stupid.
Since Boruto's whole thing early on is nostalgia bait anyways. Just give
exactly.
us the
fan service. Like they're giving us Metal Lee.
Yeah.
Why don't we have Wasabi be freaking Kiba's kid?
It's like they literally wrote and refused to release whoever Metal Lee's parents is, but then Wasabi's parents are just nobodies. Why? It's backwards thinking.
It's also weird because they gave Kiba a girlfriend. They gave him a lover. They didn't leave it mysterious that, like, Shino to where he's probably single. They gave him the partner. And then they wrote the most obvious Kiba Tamaki child ever and chose. It's like they're just doing the piss off. Like,
I mean, what I will say is that I don't need Kiba and Tamaki to be married. If anything, I think it works for Kiba's character to not be tied down or whatever. He's more of a loose cannon, free spirit type of guy. But I'm totally down with them being boyfriend and girlfriend for decades. I don't know. Maybe not that long, but you get the idea.
Either way.
Yeah.
They're still together as far as I'm aware, so I don't have a child.
Yeah,
for another topic that I don't think will take that long.
Well, can we go back to the Matsuri one because I wasn't done there? Which is how we got to the other things, anyways.
Oh,
the Matsuri stuff, yeah. No, I don't remember half of what I was gonna say. So I think part of the thing of like you wanting to devour Konohamaru, and then that's like an anti-theme. I think that's again you just loving Matsuri's humanity, that you need her to be human-like and all that.
What I literally wrote or spoke was her doing the opposite.
But if it's an anti-theme, then that's telling her that devouring her target and losing her humanity is a bad thing, and that she would go back to Jura and all the
which
others.
they're obviously gonna fucking do.
Do what exactly?
You already know Ikimoto's not gonna write it that being the 10 tails is the right answer. You already know he's not gonna do that.
That's not what I mean. What I mean is what Matsuri thinks. Is Matsuri, after devouring her target, going to think it was a good thing or a bad thing? And I think...
I never said whether she's going to think it's good or bad, but in this case, she would think it could go either way. But the point is, she's going to choose the wrong answer, narratively.
Okay.
Whether she knows it or
well,
not.
I think it's a necessity for her to think it is exclusively a good thing, and for her to go back and tell the other Shinju that. Or, the other possibility, which I already presented, is that she says it's a bad thing, and then Jura says that she's wrong and that Matsuri is considered a failure and not a true Shinju or whatever, and is denounced from the group or whatever because she did it irrationally and she didn't do it right or whatever. I don't think that's the route they're going to go. I think they would only...
I don't think so. I think it would be more, if anything, she thinks it was good.
Exactly.
But like Hidari doesn't do it.
Even if Jura denounces her as a failed Shinju or whatever, that would still implant the idea in the other Shinju's minds of it being a possibility. Like, oh, well, what if it doesn't work for us? What if we're a Shinju? Which I don't want that to be the case. I want it to only be an incentivation for the other Shinju to want even more to devour their targets, so that in the future, if someone like hypothetically Hidari does go against that, that feels more impactful rather than less impactful.
That's what I'm saying. I think they should do the opposite. So, and I'm saying because Matsuri, we already know she's developed love for Konohamaru. Hidari's the most likely candidate to have a true love for Sarada. So I think he and Matsuri should do the opposite. Matsuri devours. She thinks it's the best thing ever, but it's not. Hidari's going to do the opposite. Most likely. Unless they have him do it another failure as well. But I'm thinking, realistically, I think he's going to be the one that goes against it. Mamushi, interestingly, might just be like, see, the thing with Mamushi, I don't know, is because, like, he's the most likely to just devour and love it. But he's also the least likely to ever be able to do that because of who he's going after and who's around her.
Well, but this is exactly a thing, though, is that if Matsuri goes back and is just like, yeah, guys, this is the greatest thing ever. Not only does this incentivize them to want it more, it incentivizes them to want it sooner, which matters especially for Mamushi. This might be the thing that gets him into high gear, to get him to actually go now.
That's a good point, actually. Good point. Okay, now I really want this. And I also will say, you could do a thing to where Mamushi doesn't have to die for this. He could just be one of the only ones who don't devour a target simply because he couldn't, but he wants to. And so that does make him different from Hidari to where he could just be not human-y, but because he just doesn't want to or something, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine him hearing Matsuri talking, and then he just starts, like, chortling and being like, ha, I guess it's about finally time. I go do it too.
Yeah, and then he gets bodied by
Get him past Mitsuki first.
See, the problem is, I would have liked, just remove the sand mission. Mitsuki just fights Mamushi. Sage Mitsuki 1v1s Mamushi, but like they're already having a fight. Ryu now, his Sage mode doesn't matter unless they reveal something next chapter. And at that point, is he really going to handle Mamushi?
The thing
Mamushi looks
is,
pretty strong.
Boruto power scaling makes no sense. If we're having Sage Mitsuki clearly harming and or relative-ish to Ryu, who is above seemingly unlimited code? Like, first of all, that's just a problem before even like elaborating further. Like, where do these characters actually go?
I mean, to be fair, it's possible that Mitsuki just is stronger than Code and thinks he is, and he's just saying like, yeah, I don't think Kawaki could do that, but I could. But then again, though, Boruto did body code, but a lot of it was skill / just Code wasn't prepared for this at all. Like, Code was just not ready. He was not in the right mind. Like, bro just lacks the intel. Yeah, Mitsuki was going into that fight like, yeah, Boruto's strong. And so tactically, he maybe does better than Code. Not really, because Code did kind of just tank the Rasengan ego pretty good, but
I mean, personally, from what I've seen, I do think that Code would just beat Ryu in a fight if they fought one-on-one.
I mean, the problem is Ryu just, like, he just yanked Code out. Code wasn't ready for that, Yeah.
Now that we've seen Hidari fight...
Code seemingly wasn't able to just rip off the Iron Sand, so, like, once he gets caught, he's fucked. He's not Kimimaro, he can't just walk out.
Well, we'll see whatever they do next chapter to defend against it.
Yeah.
Because possible Code could just do that. Or, I mean, maybe Code, regardless of whatever they do, maybe Code can just use his claw marks to navigate regardless of the Iron Sand anyways. But besides that... What about Hidari, though? Who do you think would win in a fight between Code and Hidari now that we've seen him fight Boruto in, like, Chapter 11? And, like, all those other people there.
The problem is Hidari's scaling is weird, too. So all of Boruto power scaling is all over the place for a lot of reasons, especially Tubular Vortex, which makes it extremely hard. And it doesn't help that Boruto is just unquantifiably better than a lot of these people to the unquantifiable point to where she's just bodying them. but then it gets weird because it's like it seems like Boruto can't just body Hidari, which would put Hidari over Code because Boruto can body Code, but he can't body Hidari. Unless you want to say it's only because Code was off guard, blah blah blah. But Boruto didn't just off guard for Sengon Izuhiko Hidari either. So I mean I don't know. Like he had the gang up tag team, but Hidari's also using Claw Guy, but Code can also do that too. So but then again, Code wasn't fighting with the Claw Guy. He was just letting him die and said, whatever, I don't care. So, there's so many factors that make it kind of hard to pinpoint.
Code's a little bit smarmy, so I think
again,
he
though,
wouldn't get
if
caught off guard.
Hidari's stronger than Code, hypothetically, I don't care if he's using Chidori. Sarada should not be able to just Sharingan dodge Code and counter him. She shouldn't be able to. Because if she's too close to Code in power. Code should be able to body her one shot, and that's the vibe they give us when Code appears, which means Code should be stronger than Hidari. But if that's the case, why does Boruto even need help from the rest of Konoha, Room, and Sarada and shit? Why can't he just beat him? I guess you could say it's because he needs an extra long Rasengan Izuhiko because he's gotta kill Hidari. But hypothetically, he makes Hidari dizzy. Will Hidari just be so dizzy he doesn't know what to do, and then he just gets caught lacking? No, I also got this question. Why isn't Hidari still dizzy?
Yeah,
I posted this somewhere.
So you did post it somewhere, and I've been asking this since day one as well. I do have an explanation for you, and you're gonna find it funny based on several other conversations we've had up to this point since then. Anyways, so
I do have some explanations as well, but
so Kamui, what is it that makes us dizzy?
Probably our brain. I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna look this up really quick, just to be specific, just to make sure.
I mean, either way, I can just jump to my explanation.
Go for it.
If you will. So, all of Hidari's body was blown up, and he just got a new body recreated. So hypothetically, if Kawaki didn't blow Hidari up, he would be dizzy. But because Kawaki blew him up, he just had no body in the first place. So then it gets down to, could the dizziness apply to the Thorn Soul itself? It's not a body, probably not. But then again, the rotational force, blah, 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 jazz, connected to your chakra, blah, 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 should technically connect to the Thorn Soul. So in some sense, he should still be dizzy, but presumably because all of his body was destroyed. It's just, that's why.
Okay. So, Kamui. The
inner ear, yeah, Dosu.
Yeah, the cochlea is the spiral cavity of the inner ear containing the organ of Corti, which produces nerve impulses in response to sound vibrations. So, Kamui, Shinju are trees, not humans. Do Shinju have Corti?
Well, you know what's another thing?
Yeah.
Should Boruto's jutsu even work because he's not targeting this organ? I mean, the problem though is,
so I think so.
How does it work? It's basically
Quantum
as if Boruto's just spinning you, and that's why you're getting dizzy in this case. It's not doing what Dosu's doing anyway, so that's the real reason. But
I'm just saying, I don't think the Shinju. This one is unironic. I don't think the Shinju have a vestibular system.
So real quick,
yeah.
Why does spinning make you dizzy?
Inner ear.
I want to see. When you rotate, the fluid inside your inner ear's semicircular canal also spins. Interesting.
Okay, well,
so the explanation has to just be that that's what's making you dizzy for Boruto. The rotational forces that are applied onto are just applying to that semicircular canal fluid.
But why? Because the reason they're spinning to make us dizzy is because we are spinning. In this case, we aren't spinning if we're hit with Izuhiko.
Yeah, but it's like doing a rotational force thing that's as if you are. So the problem is, it's not that you're. Even though you are dizzy, it's not that you are dizzy. It's more just your body wants to spin to the right and you're not ready for it, so you just are spinning, that's why you're falling over. But it's like presented as if you're dizzy. Like when Code's looking and he sees all the smiles, it makes it look like he's dizzy.
So, not to bring up real life things, but absolutely. So you remember our guest Super John Bombo?
Yeah.
So I've told you in the past, I think I've told you this, that he has like this eye problem thing that he's been dealing with. He's like looked into it. It's like it's actually not an eye problem. His eyes are completely fine. It's the sensory information that goes through the eyes. It's actually his brain, specifically a very small, specific part of his brain. Yeah, and he's like done this whole explanation. I could even link you like a video he's done on it or whatever. It's like freaking hours of information he's gone over. It's crazy. But anyways, part of it is like there's a thing for him that one of his symptoms, like when it was really bad, this might have been from a drug he was taking, I don't remember, but it's like whenever he would look, like he would, okay, here, I'm just gonna turn my camera on. I'm still sharing my screen. Okay, go to Facecam, and let me turn light on. Okay, so I don't know how to like make this make sense, but like if I had an editing software, I guess this would make sense. But like whenever he would turn his, like tilt his head slightly to the left like this, rather than his vision turning to like the same extent, it would turn like way more. I'm doing it the wrong way. It would turn like that. So it's like he would turn his head slightly, and it's like his whole vision would go like that.
Huh.
Yeah, and it would be like really sensitive, like this kind of. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
you could say a similar idea to that, maybe. I don't know.
I don't think so, because it seems like you are spinning with Uzuhiko, essentially. Like that force of the spin is just applied to you.
I don't know. ATG, what do you think? I bet he's not actually listening. He would have probably left by now if he was.
Yeah, the moment you said it. Well, anyway. Oh, yeah, I was going to say this to you earlier. I keep wondering how many people will be on Boruto's side. Oh, wait.
Sorry, guys.
In Chapter 30 and Chapter 40, and what will happen in Chapter 30 and Chapter 40. Didn't we already answer that, like, 10 streams ago?
Yeah.
Or, like, a year ago?
It wasn't even that long ago. It was like 5 months, maybe.
Well, that's our answer.
Yeah, the video that we released a couple months ago. But anyway.
Okay. Are we done with that topic?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm wondering what you think about this. This is another of those things that just like weird. So in this latest chapter, especially, all these ... panels of Hidari
that's what I was
make me feel like Hidari is thinking about things that Jura and other people say and do. But every time Hidari opens his mouth, he says the absolute dumbest thing possible. Like, is it a disease? So, is Hidari actually taking in and thinking about Jura's words? Or is he just being Patrick at the Krusty Krab? And he's thinking, but it's only because he's so stupid that, like, he's 50 steps behind. Or are all his dumb comments just an act, and he's actually a lot smarter than he lets on? Like, what is the deal? Because it's very hard to imagine that he's genuinely thinking like, he's talking about love. Well, this is what I think about love based off my feelings of what I've observed. It's very hard to imagine he's thinking that way when he's over here like, what's that? Is it a disease? Who's that? Is that Naruto Uzumaki? And so on. It's just like, that doesn't work. One's being intellectual and inquisitive, the other's being stupid. So is all of his ... panels him just being stupid? Or is that all an act? Like, what's the deal? I want to know at this point.
So, obviously none of this is new. Not only in terms of the Boruto manga, because he'd already been doing this since day one, since he was introduced.
Yeah.
but also for us. We've realized this and have talked about this since day one.
I know,
the whole time.
but it's just like I had to bring it up again.
No. I'm not saying this bad. I'm just leading context into what I'm gonna say. Is that yes, we talked about this,
Okay.
but that's besides the point. Because what you're saying now is that yes, it's made evident once again in the latest chapter. It's clearly a thing that's there. I think we've seen enough to answer most of what you said. So, for example, is Hidari actually a lot smarter than he's leading on, and he's actually tricking everyone? I think the answer is a definitive no on that one at this point for me. That's not a meme. That's like unironically, that is just what I think at this point. Like seriously, not as a joke, but like seriously, I don't think that.
Yeah, because like some stuff with Jura's not around, like when he's talking to Konohamaru and he's just being stupid, it's just like he doesn't need to lie for anything there. Like,
yeah. Now,
so the question is, what is he thinking with these ... panels? Like, what is he thinking?
Okay, so in reference to him being dumb, obviously that is our meme, and I love it, and we'll take it till the cows come home. I think it's half true, because I think he's dumb, but that's not how I would describe it if I were to go more specifically seriously. I think he's naive because he was quite literally born yesterday, and what's important here is that he technically is dumb because he doesn't know things, but the point is that he is wanting to learn. He's very inquisitive.
Yeah, he thinks about it, unlike Mamushi, who's just like, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Hidari the hint's like, what is love? Could it be a disease?
My problem is that you can't make him open-minded when he's constantly making assumptions like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're trying to do both when they need to do one or the other. And they have so many.
It's kind of hard for him to be open-minded to humanity like things, which is what we're thinking he'll eventually do. He's like the hardest to convince. His default assumption is, wow, humans are stupid. Whereas Jura is the one like, no, Hidari, that's not true.
Exactly. Like, Hidari feels like he should be the one that has the most potential for growth in this area, even though Jura's the one realizing the most of his potential. But Hidari does things that make me think that he just doesn't have potential in the first place.
Yeah, are we wrong? It's like going to be the opposite to where Matsuri doesn't devour Konohamaru and Hidari does devour Sarada.
Well, but then they're doing it for frickin' Matsuri too. She's understanding the deep anguish of the quelling of the Team 10, but then, I hate this feeling. I don't understand Konohamaru because I like you. Like, bro, it's one or the other.
I mean, the only Mamushi might be the only consistent Shinju. We've already talked about Jura ad nauseum with the last chapter, where he's saying it's one thing that he's being hypocritical with his actions versus words, but it's another thing when his words just make no sense. Yeah. Mamushi is the only one who's just like, yeah, I don't care, whatever. I don't care, whatever. He just doesn't care.
And you're right.
And that's fine.
And we're hyping Mamushi up, but what are we hyping him up in? In comparison to everyone else. I'm scared because they haven't done anything with Mamushi yet. The moment they do something with Mamushi, is he just going to be ruined like all of the others were because all the others have been used at this point?
Yeah. Is he just gonna like do a random 180 for no reason?
He's gonna go after Ada, then realize he never wanted Ada in the first place or something.
Yeah.
He's gonna honestly, think devouring targets wrong.
Okay, so if he were to switch targets, who should it be? Should it be Damon or just someone else like Mitsuki?
If he switches targets, I want it to be a Shinju.
Okay, he called Hidari a bastard. That's his target.
Yes, and not because he thinks it's wrong or anything, because he's curious what's going to happen if he devours a Shinju instead of a human.
The problem is, the only Shinju to think that way would absolutely be Jura. I feel like he's the one who would think that far ahead. I mean, of all the Shinju to do it, I think Mamushi is number one, sure. But Jura's the one to think it.
I would agree, but I think Jory would think it, but he wouldn't act on it since he thinks a
Yeah,
lot
he
of
wouldn't
things
do
and
it.
doesn't act on a lot of
But
things.
bro won't even act on the human targets. He's not gonna act on the shitty targets.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with how much he
But then
respects
again,
the Ginger at this point.
yeah. But will Mamushi be too lazy to do it?
Okay. So what's next?
You have a few Ryu ones here right above that.
Okay.
You said, how will the good guys fight Ryu now that Araya's sword is gone? Actually, we might have already talked about that. Hopefully Mitsuki Sage mode.
Actually, there is a okay. I'm glad you said that. We can talk about that again because specifically, what is it called? The Retsu gun? Is that what it's called? The technique that they developed in the book. It takes the teamwork of
the Lorentz gun.
The Lorentz gun, yeah. Someone made a comments about it. That could be the way they do like an electrical field across the entire area to like do that.
I think you posted it in Boruto Topics somewhere. Maybe.
I posted Boruto Topics. I might have posted it.
Well, because I saw you mentioning the electricity thing, so.
Okay. We go to Boruto.
The bottom of Boruto
Topics. This one.
Maybe.
No, it was like a week ago, I think. Oh no, it is.
Right there.
Literally right there. Yeah. Oh, technically it was a week ago. So okay, it was just the most recent. We've not put a lot of Boruto topics in recently. Good job, us.
If we're doing all Naruto rewrites.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Okay, so we got this comment from Holy Grail of Nostalgia and like 5,000 other comments from them, and we love them for it. Okay, so they said. Boruto Chapter 200 will be released in July 2033. There will probably be breaks during that time. So many Chapter 200 released in November /December 2023. Okay, anyways. Switch up. Okay. We need to see. Because is this the right comment? Did I just post the wrong comment? Where's the... Is this the same thing? Oh no, this is just a different podcast topic. Yeah, no, that's just a different post. I don't know.
Okay, so
I don't know where the comment is. Anyway, so I say, I don't know what comment, but this was inspired by someone. With Mitsuki and Sarada together using teamwork against a magnet-style user, and Boruto isn't there to bail them out, or Araya's sword, will we finally see the Lorentz gun canonized in the manga? The OP lightning-style jutsu Sasuke taught them in the novels. It could disrupt the magnetic field. I may not know about heat, but I know electricity can do that.
So, that would be really cool. I don't expect it. And I'm just gonna, because you've already mentioned it here, and I don't want you to think I stole it from this idea, I will spoil something. Okay. That this jutsu is in the Mitsuki rewrite. And I won't specify beyond that. But this jutsu is in the Mitsuki rewrite.
I love it. Oh, that's good.
I was way ahead of me. And I think, in light of a previous podcast topic that I will not explicitly reference, I think you'll like the idea that I go for here.
Okay, cool.
But anyway, this would be the coolest thing they could do. But the problem is. Whereas, yes, it's a cool nod, and Naruto explained, we'll say this is why you gotta read the novels, blah, blah, blah.
I knew this would happen all along.
It's fine for a jutsu like this to come out of nowhere. It's fine, but it is coming out of nowhere for the manga, and it is, like, to an extent, even though it's not, to an extent, it is just a random cop-out, because at no point are they explained to even be doing it. They haven't even talked about scientific anything since Baryon mode. So it's like, it feels like a cop-out. Even though the jutsu already existed in novels, for the manga-only viewers, it's like, okay, that's a cool solution, but it did come out of nowhere. Then again, so did Araya's sword, so at that point, I guess it's fine. I don't know what you think about that. I'll love it just because I think the jutsu is cool, and I already know about it, but like, to an extent, is that just too much bullshit? I don't know.
So, my problem is the last time we've seen the Lorenz gun, unless they've just massively improved it to where, first of all, they could just do it easily rather than the struggle it takes to do it in the first place. But they could just do it quick enough to where they could just get it off before Ryu instantly paralyzes them again, which I don't see why he wouldn't do immediately at the beginning of next chapter. So,
which gets into your other podcast topic.
Which one?
You have to scroll back up a little bit. Just a little bit. You had 3 in a row. It's right above my Hidari one. Keep going, keep going. No, oh, yeah, right there. Okay.
Okay. So, how will the good guys fight Ryu now that Araya's sword is gone? Yeah, we have talked about this. Why can't Ryu just paralyze them all and hold them in place like he did originally? Ryu paralyzed, held all their bodies all at once, so how did Araya move to activate his sword in the first place?
So you're not going to like this answer, but he just didn't do it to Araya, I think. I think he just didn't paralyze Araya. I'm going to double check right now. I think that's the only reason this worked. Because you see it get to Yodo. You see it attack Mitsuki. You see it get... No, you're right. No, shoot. No, it did get Araya. How did he do that?
Araya makes no
He's got
sense.
to slash it.
So the only way I can see is if this is like a Chidori stream to where he doesn't need to move his body, he can just activate the jutsu. I guess without hand signs or anything. Like he can just turn the sword on because it's infused with chakra already or something. I don't know.
That's some bullshit right there. The whole thing's clearly like he's talking about like using wind style with it or whatever. That's why Araya's slashing and all that jazz. You know what my explanation would have been? This is a fucking puppet, and Araya used this puppet master jutsu to grab the sword from a distance and slash it on his own. That's what I would have done. But then if that's the case, he wouldn't have lost the sword. He would have used the puppet master jutsu to take the sword away from Ryu.
I mean, the problem
could have been a cool way to expose that there was a puppet there, so that Ryu could have then attacked the real Araya, but apparently Araya just forgot the puppet master jutsu. He just doesn't.
Well, I don't think Araya is the one who forgot it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's like, imagine, like, honestly though, imagine if Konkoro turns up next chapter and bro's just throwing hands and he doesn't bring a single puppet with him. You're just gonna be like, what? It's not Konkoro.
He's doing the fireball fire style jutsu.
I mean, I still don't even understand how Araya sees right now. He's not Gojo. What is it? Like, how... Araya makes no sense. Like, it's gotta be a puppet, because otherwise, how does Bro see? But it doesn't seem like it's a puppet.
Well, but then
Bro's
again...
got a beard!
Then again, we were saying the same thing of how did Konkoro see against Mizumi?
Okay, but to be fair... Oh, yeah, okay, no, okay. What I was about to say is, to be fair, early Naruto characters like Konkoro and Danzo and shit, they're just doing the Japanese eyes to where they're closed, but like, okay, you mean when he's in the puppet? Yeah. I don't understand. Substitution jutsu. But that doesn't make sense either with how the substitution jutsu works.
Exactly. Yeah, I really wish Jonathan Oliver gave me, well, maybe he didn't check, an answer to whether or not the substitution jutsu, whenever ninja turn into tools, are they ninja at that moment? Like when Boruto was a Sasuke sword, is Boruto a ninja at that moment?
I don't know if he ever accepted whether Kabuto's cave was a ninja or not, either.
This is why we need him on the podcast. You realize how many videos we could get out of Are These Things a Ninja? I would need to bring that playlist back.
I mean, like I said, I'm down. Worst case scenario, we just make the Jonathan Oliver AI and see what kind of takes it spits out. The problem is, how do you train it to have Jonathan Oliver takes?
I don't think it could be as good as Jonathan Oliver ever could be.
Well, obviously not, but like, how close could we get it?
Well, how little
will we anyway.
What to talk with it? Okay. I think that was a
What was the last
sweet
Araya one there? I walked away.
spot to end off. But if we want to do another one, we could. Well, that was all 3 Araya ones. The previous one was why can't Ryu just
Okay.
paralyze, hold them in place like he did originally, which he can.
I mean, I assume he's either going to just do that, and then we get a new solution,
Or he's gonna forget.
or they'll do a blind new stupidity where he doesn't do it. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's clearly his intent to do that.
I mean, when we cut away from them last, was he fully formed again? Yeah, he was, because he threw in Araya's sword.
Yeah.
Well, he
And
hasn't.
he was like, no, I got rid of silver, blah, blah, blah.
So my guess is that Araya, whenever he like did the thing to like reconstitute Ryu, he reconstituted all of the iron sand in the area into Ryu. So I think Ryu would have to re-spread himself back out in order to paralyze all of them. And they know that he can do that. So currently they're not touching the iron sand. They could just run away from Ryu if he tries to do that, assuming it's slow enough. But that's just another way around it, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like they're setting it up to where he can just do his thing immediately again.
Well, I mean, he was only able to do it in the first place because they weren't fighting yet, and so they just let themselves be surrounded with the sand, knowing that's what was happening.
I mean, yeah, hypothetically, they might be able to just dodge, but we don't know how fast it is, so.
Exactly. I mean, apparently it's slow enough to where Araya could just turn around and hit the tsunami-looking thing.
Rope was already caught when he did it. You just broke out. Didn't even need the sword, apparently.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of crazy that he can activate the sword and just free his entire body rather than the sword. Like, you'd think it would affect around the sword, not his body. And oh, his sword is around his body. That's a huge area of effect, in my opinion, but whatever.
Yeah.
Very coincidentally,
That
the
makes
area of effect
sense.
around him as well.
Yeah.
And the fact that slashing is just working, I understand it's like a wind style thing, but I don't think that's how that should work. I think you should have to go
I
like
know it.
next to Mitsuki rather than slashing at a distance. But whatever.
Or if he's gonna slash, he should have to do like a bunch of slashes to get all the sand or something.
Yeah. It's all weird. Anyway.
Just one splash and done.
Yeah. Did you want to end it there though?
Be fine, and then I can shower real quick, and then me do a movie.
Okay. Millennium Kage is stuff in chat. Happy 200! Thanks, Millennium Kage! Woo! I love how everyone so far, at least I think, has just congratulated us on it without us talking about it. So they are just seeing the title and just knowing, I guess. Anyways.
Yeah.
Instead of 50 panels focused on people sweating, we should have got a Sakura reaction in between all that. Well, you're not going to find us disagreeing.
Instead of Sumire walking in the building for a whole ass page, we could have had Sakura's reaction to Hinata.
Instead of that, like, 1
You
by
know, at
800...
this point, we need to do... Okay, you know what we need to do? All right, this is the podcast topics.
Okay.
List all the things we could have removed to have Sakura's reaction to Hidari take its place. So we just go through each chapter, each page, and just be like, yeah, we could remove this for it to see how many pages we can remove to dedicate to Sakura's reaction to Hidari.
Bro, it's gonna be like a whole ass arc.
It's gonna be like 3 chapters worth.
Oh my god. Millennium Kage says, yeah, I find Jigen to be similar to Cell, which Kamui wouldn't know what that is, but that's okay. Cordial and even neutral on interactions, but soon loses composure and gets angry when something does drastically go wrong. I agree. Yeah, I kind of see it like that. Yeah, not the exact same, but I see. Yeah, I see the connection there. Editing and marketing resume, also the holy grail person, which is really confident. Maybe they put Matsuri up for adoption, and he means Wasabi. Yeah, so maybe Kiba and Tamaki did put Wasabi up for adoption. The only problem with that is, doesn't Wasabi, like, talk to her parents in the anime?
Yeah.
So...
And also, why? If that's not gonna be like, unlike Shinky being adopted by Gara, which is like a plot point discussed, why do it if it doesn't matter?
Gara literally has a whole novel dedicated to his romance life, and Gara adopted children instead of having his own, of all the characters. Why couldn't it have been freaking Shino to adopt a child instead of Gara? Let it be Sai.
I mean, honestly though, yeah, like I don't feel like, I feel like Gara could easily get, like, for example, I know Fu's dead, but like he and Fu could have been a great couple. Like, I feel like Gara works with plenty of people. They just wrote it. Like, if fucking Choji can get Karui, there's no excuse. Why isn't Gara just with Matsuri? He's only like 3 years older, and at this point they're like 25 or whatever the hell. It's not even a weird age gap. So yeah, why isn't he just with Matsuri? She was fanboying over him. She's manga canon and anime. In the anime, they like literally have the setup. So yeah. Why?
I mean,
Why isn't Shiki just Gara and Matsuri's child?
I feel like
or Kokuro's adopted child?
I feel like Gara is literally the type of person to literally just want kids or a relationship or whatever.
Yeah. And like, Gara's not ugly by any means. Like, in fact, like I said, Matsuri thinks he's hot.
Canonically hot.
Like, literally. He's got fangirls.
It's like he's literally chill, so that's not a problem. Because of all his trauma in the past, like Sarin was showing us the other day, he would have so much meaningful impact from like handing a kid a ball and the kid being happy about it. His Infinite Tsukiyomi dream was literally him as a kid anyways, as a happy kid.
Yeah.
The girls
with family.
want him anyways. Yeah. It's like it could give him a reason to have his hairstyle in Boruto, then people would hate it less. There's that.
I mean, no matter how you slice it, yeah, I don't get why he's not just with Matsuri. Hell, you could have got a Matsuri versus Matsuri in this case. She's mad that Gara got sealed away.
Yeah, like, again, he literally has an entire novel dedicated to his romance life. And that's just, like, not a real thing, I guess. Like,
I don't know.
Like, he would appreciate life more than anyone. He literally already died. He'd want to be grateful and try to like live it up, live to his best life that he can. He should be the one.
I mean, honestly, I
just
don't get how he's not with Matsuri. Just, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, it's just the most obvious couple. It's like Shikamaru Tamari and Sakura and Sasuke, Naruto. And it's like, of course.
It's not even like she's like Hinata, to where it's like she's so shy she's not gonna say anything to Naruto. Which even freaking Hinata was eventually gonna say something to Naruto. Where is Matsuri? Did she just move on from Gara? There's no way.
Girl was literally saying how hot he was right behind him as he was revived. Like, she wasn't scared. She's the only one who wasn't scared of Gara in the filler arc there. She's the only one. Like, she's so willing to talk to Gara.
I just don't understand, bro. Oh my god. Okay. Well, anyways. I don't know. What I do know is that we failed.
Yeah, pretty badly.